The number of young people with diabetes in the country is rising, with over 300,000 people aged between 19 and 39 being diagnosed with the condition, according to the Korean Diabetes Association.
대한당뇨병학회가 발표한 자료에 따르면 국내 19세에서 39세 청년 인구 중 30만 명 이상이 당뇨병 진단을 받음에 따라 젊은 당뇨병 환자가 늘어나고 있는 것으로 나타났습니다.
Yeah, according to the Korea Diabetes Association, there are 308,000 people aged between 19 and 39 that suffer from diabetes. And this release comes 4 days ahead of the World Diabetes Day, which is celebrated across the world. But that accounts for about 2.2% of all people aged between 19 and 39. So teens and those in their 20s and 30s, which is proportionally a very high number. And if you look even closer, about 3/4 of people in their 30s suffer from diabetes, and about 80,000 others in their 20s as well. So there's a big sort of proportion of people in their 30s who suffer from this very serious condition.
Yeah, exactly. Diabetes, 당뇨병이죠. diabetes. Be diagnosed with diabetes라는 표현이 나왔습니다.
Yeah, that means you are examined and analyzed, and you're found to have this disease, and it's identified, usually after an examination. Right?
Yeah, be diagnosed with something이라는 것은 무엇으로 진단받다라는 뜻이고요. 여기서 examination은 시험이 아니라 검사가 되겠죠. 병원에서 여러 가지 검사를 받고 이것이다 하고 병명이 딱 내려졌을 때 you have been diagnosed with something.
And it's not always in a medical aspect. If you're an IT person, you may run a diagnostic test on your computer, which is a test to see if your computer is running properly or not. And we would say that's a diagnostic test.
그러네요. 이제 컴퓨터의 상태를 정확하게 확인할 때 그때도 전문적으로 diagnostics test라는 표현을 씁니다. 자, what about a condition?
Yeah, in this instance, condition would mean simply an illness or an ailment, a disease. You would say these people suffer from a condition, which is diabetes. You can say I have a serious heart condition, or the elderly man suffered from a brain condition.
Sure. 질환이라는 의미가 있습니다. 그래서 우리가 왜 흔히 나 지금 컨디션이 좀 별로라서 점심 같이 못 먹을 것 같아 하는 그 컨디션이랑은 달라요. 그런 정도의 가벼운 게 아니고요. 영어에서는 건강과 관련돼서 condition이라고 하면은 좀 심각할 때 쓰는 표현입니다. 진짜 어떤 질환이나 질병이 있을 때 그 질병의 상태, 질환의 상태가 어떻다라고 할 때 her condition has improved. 어떤 질병이 있는데 그 상태가 조금 나아졌다라고는 할 수 있지만 나 오늘 그냥 좀 컨디션 안 좋아서 우리 커피 마시는 거 다음에 마시자. 이럴 때는 안 써요, 영어에서는.
You could say it, just in general, my condition, I'm not in good condition today,
Okay.
In
It's
that
more about
aspect.
feelings too, isn't it?
Exactly. So it has that dual meaning, I would think. But in this instance, we're talking about a specific illness
맞아요.
or disease.
근데 만약에 정말 그냥 가벼운 얘기를 영어로 하고 싶으면은 I'm not feeling too good today. 이 정도.
You wouldn't ask, how's your condition? You would just say, how are you feeling?
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
how are you doing?
Or you could just say, if you feel a little bit sick, you might say, I'm feeling I'm under the weather. I'm just not feeling too good right now.
Although you could talk about a car, for instance, and say, my car is in good condition,
Sure.
which means it's in good running order.
맞아요. 네. 물건의 상태 얘기할 때도 컨디션 많이 쓰죠. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. The number of young people with diabetes in the country is rising, with over 300,000 people aged between 19 and 39 being diagnosed with the condition, according to the Korean Diabetes Association. Now here's our next headline.
Huge numbers of protesters took to the streets in Valencia, Spain over the weekend, condemning authorities for delayed flood warnings in response to recent deadly floods.
지난 주말 스페인 발렌시아에서 대규모 시위대가 거리로 나와 최근 막대한 인명피해를 낸 홍수에 늑장 대응을 한 당국을 규탄했습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, if you remember back in October, this area of Spain near Valencia and its neighboring provinces, more than 200 people died in these flash floods, which were caused by torrential rain. So over the weekend, there have been consistent sort of protests, but on Saturday, 130,000 people took to the streets chanting, we are stained with mud, but you, as in the government, are stained with blood. And what they're arguing is that the government did not issue alerts in time to local mobile phones until hours after the flooding started. So they're very upset about that. And when the King and Queen of Spain visited these sort of affected areas, they were met with people pelting mud and other sort of debris at them in one of the most worst affected regions as well.
사망자가 200명이나 넘었다고 하고요. 그만큼 상당한 그런 홍수였는데 flash flood라는 것은 갑자기 발생한 홍수죠. 그러니까 이게 아무래도 수위가 갑자기 올라가다 보면은 피해 규모가 그만큼 커질 수 있는데 거기다가 늑장 대응까지 그래서 스페인의 왕과 여왕이 좀 뒤늦게 현장을 방문했을 때 people pelted mud라고 했습니다. 던졌다는 뜻이에요.
Yeah.
왕이랑 여왕한테 진흙 같은 거를 이제 던지면서 왜 이제서야 왔냐 이런 불만을 터뜨렸다고 합니다.
Right. We use the word pelt when you're throwing mud or things like rocks or pebbles and things, other sort of debris.
맞아요. P-E-L-T, pelt. All right, let's have a look at the word condemn.
Yeah, the reason these protesters are taking to the streets is because they're condemning or they're blaming, they're criticizing and denouncing the government because of their disapproval for the government's response.
Right. There's an M and an N in the
Yes.
spelling of condemn, right? Can you tell us the spelling?
Yeah, C-O-N-D-E-M-N, but that last N is silent.
그래요. 마지막에 N은 묵음입니다. condemn. 자, 그다음에 이제 규탄하다라는 뜻이었고요. In response to something.
Yeah, it simply means you're reacting to something that has happened. You're answering something. Another expression where it's probably more often used in written communication. So in response to the floods, the government acted a certain way. So, but in just normal speak, you would just say they did this, or they reacted by doing this. They responded by doing this.
They responded. 반응하다, 대응하다라는 뜻의 respond가 여기 들어가 있어서요. In response to 무엇에 대응하여라는 의미가 되겠죠.
If you write business emails often, you will write this. I find myself writing this often. Saying in response to your last email, but you could say in regards to, you can say with respect to, or as related to.
그렇죠. 그러니까 이게 좀 다양하게 해석이 되는데 답을 한다라는 의미. 그다음에 앞서 받은 이메일에 대하여 제가 이렇게 답신을 합니다라고 할 때도 in response to your previous email, blah 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 이렇게 하면 되겠습니다. All right, here's the headline again. Huge numbers of protesters took to the streets in Valencia, Spain over the weekend, condemning authorities for delayed flood warnings in response to recent deadly floods.
A portrait of English mathematician Alan Turing has become the first artwork by a humanoid robot to be sold at auction, fetching more than $1 million in New York.
영국의 수학자 앨런 튜링의 초상화가 휴머노이드 로봇이 그린 작품으로는 처음으로 경매에 출품돼 뉴욕에서 $100만 넘는 금액에 낙찰됐습니다. All right, tell us more.
So if you're interested in what this portrait looks like, it's sort of I don't know, I'm not an art major, but it's sort of a Pablo Picasso sort of contorted type of face that comes out. But it was created by this world's first ultra-realistic robot artist named Aida. I think it's Aida, or maybe it's AIDA, because it's an artificial intelligence robot that created this portrait that's over 2 meters tall. And according to this robot, quote unquote, that it speaks, says the key value of my work is its capacity to serve as a catalyst for dialogue about emerging technology. So the way this robot created this portrait was after many sketches through its curator or its I guess its helper assistant. It finally came out with this final product. But Turing, if you're not familiar, he was, of course, a famous computer scientist back post World War II, I believe, and he was one of the people that laid the groundwork for the early computers, as well as he talked about artificial intelligence even back then in the mid 20th century. So it's kind of an homage or homage to Alan Turing in that this portrait was created.
Yeah, absolutely. I think of the movie Imitation Game.
Not familiar.
Oh, have you not watched it? You should. It stars Cumberbatch.
Okay.
And it's the story of Alan Turing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's a great movie. But nonetheless, as you said, this particular portrait, it was drawn by the humanoid robot.
Yes.
I think her name is pronounced Ada. I could be wrong, but
Is
as
it
you said,
Ada? Okay.
the spelling is
Yes.
what's important because
Obviously-
AI goes in it.
Right. It's a play
Yeah.
on words with
Yeah.
AI.
맞아요. 그래서 저희가 몇 년 전에 모닝 스페셜에서도 다뤘었는데 이 로봇이 처음으로 영국의 국회에 가서 이제 자기 의견도 주장하고 토론도 하고 뭐 이러는 정말 그냥 엄청난 지능에 지금 현존하는 로봇, 휴머노이드 로봇 중에서는 지능이 가장 높은 것으로 높은 로봇 중 하나입니다. 여성이고요, 모습은. 그런데 이제 그림을 그린 게 있는데 그게 이번에 100만 달러가 넘는 금액에 낙찰됐다고 했어요.
Yeah.
우리 돈으로는 기사마다 좀 다르긴 하더라고요. 근데 뭐 어디는 18억 원, 15억 원, 뭐 이렇게 다 그 달러 기준이랑 환산 금액이 좀 다르기는 하더라마는 어쨌든 뭐 한 15억에서 18억 원 정도에 팔렸다라고 보면
It was
되겠습니다.
very expensive.
네,
Yes.
그렇습니다. 자, 휴머노이드가 무슨 뜻이에요?
Yeah, so the way this robot is described, this AI robot, is it's a humanoid, meaning that it's in human form, right? It's a non-human creature with the characteristics of human. You described it as a woman because it has female sort of characteristics with,
Yeah.
this long hair and whatnot. But if you look at this word closely, it has the suffix oid, oid. And what that means, originally it means something like or resembling.
Yeah.
And it's often used in scientific terms. For example, a lot of people on our phones, we have an Android. An Android would be a robot, also a robot with a human appearance. Asteroid is also uses that suffix. Tabloid is from a
yeah.
tablet,
Yeah.
right? In short form.
네. 이 OID가 뒤에 붙으면은 기계라고 생각하시면 돼요. 네, humanoid니까 사람의 모습을 한 기계입니다. 이 로봇 같은 경우에는 스펠링이 AIDA인데 그 영국 수학자 중에 예전에 Ada Lovelace라는 수학자가 있었어요. 그래가지고 그 여성의 이름에서 본따기도 했고 그 다음에 Artificial Intelligence라서 AI라는 스펠링을 넣어가지고 그래서 Ada라는 이름을 이렇게 붙여준 걸로 제가 알고 있는데
So no relation to the musical.
그거는
아이다.
이제 아이다.
Okay.
그 뮤지컬. 그거는
Maybe that's why I pronounced it like that.
그
Yeah,
뮤지컬도 참 재밌는데 그거랑은 상관없는 것 같아요.
Okay.
네, 그래서 생긴 게 진짜 이제 머리 스타일도 이게 단발머리 하고 있고 그냥 사람처럼 생긴 로봇이라서 그냥 로봇 아니고 humanoid robot입니다. And what about to fetch?
Yes.
얼마?
So we failed to mention that this was sold at auction, and when you sell something at auction, a price is set, and it fetched for, meaning it brought in, or it sold for, it went for a certain price. In this case, over $1 million.
Exactly. Fetch and then a price basically means it was sold for that price. 얼마에 팔렸다라는 뜻이에요. fetch라는 동사 자체는 무언가를 가져오다라는
Yeah,
뜻이죠.
right. I tell my wife all the time, "Hey, can you fetch me a drink while you're in the kitchen?"
그렇죠. 이렇게 문장 속에 넣으면은
Yeah.
굉장히 정중하고요. 그렇지만 우리가 강아지한테는 이
Yes.
단어 하나만 말합니다.
Right.
Fetch.
Fetch, right?
이렇게
And
하면서
then means
가져와.
go and bring it back.
그렇죠. 근데 사람한테 이렇게 하면 무례해요. 사람한테는 이렇게 하면 안 되고.
Yeah.
Could you please fetch me, some water? 뭐 이런 식으로.
You could use it, but usually I'm met with my wife saying, "Get it yourself.
Get it yourself.
You
fetch
have
it
legs.
yourself.
You have legs. Get it yourself."
I see. 자, FETCH. 뭔가 가져오다지만 이 경우에는 뒤에 금액이 나오면 얼마에 팔렸다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A portrait of English mathematician Alan Turing has become the first artwork by a humanoid robot to be sold at auction, fetching more than $1 million in New York. Moving on, this is our next headline.
More than 40 monkeys have escaped from a research facility in the U.S. state of South Carolina, prompting warnings for nearby residents to secure their doors and windows.
미국 사우스캐롤라이나주의 한 연구시설에서 40마리 이상의 원숭이가 탈출하면서 당국은 인근 지역 주민들에게 자택 출입문과 창문을 잠글 것을 당부했습니다. Oh no, monkeys on the loose.
Yes. So this research facility, known conspicuously as Alpha Genesis, had these monkeys, and they escaped. They are rhesus monkeys of Asian sort of origin, old world monkeys, and they're primarily found in Central Asia, in the Afghanistan, Pakistan, Southeast Asia region. But they were on the loose, and as of now, still 42 of the 43 remain at large. So a lot of the residents in nearby areas who probably didn't even know that these monkeys existed there. Although 8 years ago, a similar incident happened at this same facility where 19 primates escaped but were recaptured 6 hours later. So if you're living in this area of the U.S., be on the lookout. And it reminds me, there was an instance back in the late 90s in Korea, in Busan, I believe, when a monkey was on the loose and terrorized residents at the time. It was a Himalayan monkey, I believe.
Really?
But in any case, it was captured and securely captured.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. Coming back to this story. 지금
Yes.
미국 사우스캐롤라이나 주에서 43마리의 이 원숭이가 시설에서 지금 탈출을 한 거죠. 연구 시설에 있었던 원숭이들입니다.
Yes, it was a research facility, meaning a building, a piece of equipment or service that is used for the purpose of something to study.
Yeah. research라고도 하고요. research라고 하고. 강세가 앞에 가도 되고요. 뒤에 가도 됩니다. 다 가능하고. 그다음 prompting someone to do something or prompting something.
So because they escaped, authorities, they were prompted, they were incited or elicited, induced is probably a good word.
네. 어떤 일을 하도록 하다. 이런 의미가 있습니다. prompt 뒤에 warning이 나왔죠. 그러니까 warning, 경고를 내게끔 했다. prompt an action, 어떤 행동을 하게끔 하다. prompt a noun, 그러면 이런 것이 나오게끔 하다라는 뜻이 되겠죠.
Computer, I guess coders know prompts when you put a prompt in and you tell the computer to do something.
정말 중요한 단어예요. 우리 챗GPT 같은 것들이 요즘 굉장히 많잖아요. 거기에다 올리는 지시어들을 영어로는 prompt라고 해요.
Yeah.
그냥 하게끔 하는 것들이니까 command가 아니라 prompt라고 합니다.
And in TV news, oftentimes anchors will use TV prompters.
Yes,
right?
that's right. We don't have one.
No, we don't. We don't need one. No.
네.
Everything's off the cuff, spontaneous.
근데 선생님도 뭐 TV 뉴스 하시고 저도 예전에 많이 했지만 그때는 TV prompter 쓰잖아요.
Sometimes, because I wasn't an anchor. But as a reporter, if you're
okay.
on the field or if you're just doing a live hit or a live cross, I try to do it off the cuff. Yeah.
그러네요. 네. 또 라이브 리포팅을 할 때는 그 프롬프터 없이 네, 그냥 바로 생중계를
It looks more natural, but
네, 네.
yeah.
그렇습니다.
In any case.
자, 그래서 프롬프트라는 게 이제 뭔가 어쨌든 하도록 하다라는 의미라서 TV 프롬프터 방송을 안 하더라도 요즘은 뭐 다 이런 용어들 아시니까 이거는 뭐냐면은 앵커로 하여금 말을 하게끔 하는 그런 글들이라고 생각하시면 될 것
Like a
같아요.
cue, right? Like a
맞아요.
cue signal. Yeah.
그렇습니다. 네. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. More than 40 monkeys have escaped from a research facility in the US state of South Carolina, prompting warnings for nearby residents to secure their doors and windows. Now here's our final headline.
The ancient city of Pompeii has announced plans to limit the number of daily visitors to the site to 20,000 a day after a steep rise in tourists.
관광객 수가 급증한 이탈리아의 고대 유적 도시 폼페이가 하루 입장객 수를 2만 명으로 제한한다고 발표했습니다.
Yeah, we've talked about it with other sort of landmarks around the world where there's this sort of balancing act that authorities will have to do with this resurgence of tourists and visitors because it really does become a problem at certain points. But nearly 4 million people visited this Pompeii site last year. That's a third more than the previous year. We're back up to more than pre-pandemic levels. Last month alone, Sue, nearly 500,000 people visited the site as well. They get about 500,000 on average per month, it seems. And a big reason for that is that they say there's a big spike in the number of visitors on the first Sunday of the month when it's free, and there, as well as 3 or 4 fee-paying days. But the cost of a ticket to Pompeii about 18 euros, about 27,000 won there. So this is something that authorities and the people there are having to sort of deal with.
Yeah. The term revenge travel popped
Yeah.
up after the pandemic. And it's because over the past 3 years, people weren't able to travel and we had to rely on our computers and the internet and we were sort
Virtual
of
reality.
virtual traveling, exactly. And so there was a time, and it wasn't too long ago, when these popular tourist sites were not open at
Yeah.
all. They were just completely closed. And then, as soon as the doors opened, people were just rushing to go and visit. And, in Korea, we also say 보복 여행?
I believe so.
그러니까 정말 너무 그동안에 눌렸었기 때문에 여행하고 싶어 하는 마음으로.
I imagine the rise of social media as well has
Yeah,
prompted a lot of people to visit these sites to get that, that perfect picture to post and get those likes and those comments, But if you look at behind the scenes of these landmarks,
Yeah.
you'll notice there's a huge line of people. I remember when I summited Halasan at the very top of the peak, everyone wants that picture by that little sort of stone there that's erected, and
Yeah.
but behind the scenes, there's a big line of people there.
Oh, really? At the top of Halasan too?
You would never know on people's
No.
Instagram posts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
자, 그래요. 그래서 이제 정말 이제는 오버 투리즘 때문에 고생을 하고 있는 그런 관광지도 많습니다. So what they're doing is they're limiting the number of visitors.
Exactly. They're restricting or they're curtailing, perhaps, the number of people that can come. So some people are going to have to be turned away. But they're saying it's not common, but you may have to experience that if you do go.
It's a verb here, as you can see, limit, 제한하다. What about a steep rise?
Right. A rise, of course, is an increase, but a steep rise would be an increase that happens very quickly or abruptly, sharply, right?
Is Halasan a steep mountain, would you say?
There are steep portions,
Okay.
and there are certain trails that are steeper than others, but for the most part, I think it's very doable for the average or casual hiker.
아, 그렇군요. 자, 뭔가 가파를 때 우리가 steep하다라고 하는데요. 가파른 상승, 급상승, steep rise가 되겠습니다. Well, here's the headline one more time. The ancient city of Pompeii has announced plans to limit the number of daily visitors to the site to 20,000 a day after a steep rise in tourists. Well, that's it for the headlines with Shane.
Korea's outbound shipments fell almost 18% year on year in the first 10 days of November, with average daily exports decreasing by 0.1%, according to the Korea Customs Service.
이달 1일부터 10일까지 우리나라 수출액이 1년 전보다 거의 18% 감소했으며 일평균 수출액은 0.1% 줄었다고 관세청이 발표했습니다. Tell us more.
Yes, we have the preliminary data, and it shows we reached a 14.9 billion US dollars during that first 10 days of November, and it's down 17.8% from a year earlier. So that means we've got our daily exports decreasing by about 0.1%. I've got good news and bad news, Sue.
Okay.
Do you want the good news first or the bad news?
Give us the good news.
Good news is semiconductors and ships increased by 17.4%. That's doing well.
Okay.
The bad news, automobiles have really dived by 33.6%. I've also got good news in terms of the countries and bad news. Good news in terms of Taiwan, increasing by nearly 30%.
Okay.
But we've had falls in shipments to both China and the US.
자, 그러면은 이제 구체적으로 수출액이 이제 떨어졌다는 것을 분석을 좀 해보자면은요, 그 중에서 semiconductors and ships입니다. 반도체와 조선업 같은 경우에는요, 수출액이 늘었습니다. 그렇지만 automobiles, 자동차 수출액은 줄었군요. 그 다음에 이제 수출을 어디로 하느냐? 중국과 미국, 그러니까 대중과 대미 수출은 줄었고요. 그다음에 대만으로의 수출액은 또 늘었다. 이렇게 볼 수 있겠군요. 지금 계속 수출 얘기를 하고 있는데 영어로는 exports라고도 할 수 있지만 you can also say this, right?
Yes, outbound shipments. So a shipment is something that's being shipped, meaning it's being sent somewhere. So any kind of product. And outbound means it's leaving the country. We can use outbound for people as well. Like someone's going on a flight. They're outbound to Singapore or outbound to Taiwan. But we often use it for shipments. So something is inbound, coming into the country, or outbound, leaving the country.
여기서 bound라는 이 단어는 어디를 향해 간다는 뜻이 있어요. 그래서 outbound는 밖으로 나가는 그런 shipments, 배를 타고 밖으로 나가는 것. 이게 수출이고요. 그다음에 inbound shipments 그러면 수입이 되겠습니다.
Yeah. And you know where I'll be going after the show?
왜?
I'll be homeward bound.
You'll be homeward bound. 집을 향해서
네.
갈 거죠. 끝나고 나서. 자, 그래서 exports라는 단어도 쓰지만 outbound shipments도 같은 뜻이다. 그 다음에 이제 daily exports라고 했어요. daily도 한번 볼까요?
Well, daily means every day. It's like morning special is your daily dose of English. At least I hope it is. Please keep listening. Yeah, we use this term daily for something that's happening every day in the same way that you might hear the term weekly. I appear on this show weekly, or we have monthly or annually. There's lots of different terms we use to say something that happens regularly with a certain duration of time, a certain period of time.
So it can be an adjective and it can be an adverb as
Yes.
well. 그래요. 명사를 꾸며줄 수도 있고 동사를 꾸며줄 수도 있는데 I appear on the show daily 아니면은 daily exports 이런 식으로 품사가 좀 바뀔 수가 있고요. 그냥 그 하루 작업량 아니면은 하루치에라는 뜻의 daily exports 그러면 일일 수출량이 되겠죠. 네, 수출액입니다. 여기서는 구체적으로. 그 다음에는 I come here daily 그러면은 나는 여기에 매일매일 온다라고 이렇게 해석할 수 있겠고요. All right, well, here's the headline again. Korea's outbound shipments fell almost 18% year on year in the first 10 days of November, with average daily exports decreasing by 0.1%, according to the Korea Customs Service. Here's our next headline.
Italy's Mount Etna reached a new height record after a series of eruptions in August this year, which raised the volcano's crater by approximately 35 meters, bringing it to 3,403 meters above sea level.
이탈리아 에트나 화산이 올해 8월 몇 차례 분화 이후 35m가량 높아져 해발 3,403m가 되면서 종전 최고 높이 기록을 경신했습니다. 그러니까요, 이 화산이 키가 컸어요.
Yes.
키가 커졌어요.
And it's the tallest it's ever been.
이럴 수가.
Well, this is the thing with volcanoes, because when you have an active volcano, the structure changes. And, well, it grows and grows and grows. So compared to July, which was the previous height tally they took, to September, it had grown to 3,403 meters. If we look over the last few years, for example, before 2021, the volcano was somewhere between 3,320 meters to 3,330 meters. And then in the past 3 years, we've seen this growth. There's been more activity, more intense activity, which means Mount Etna is getting taller and taller and taller.
Yep, exactly. All right, let's look at the word height.
Yes, means how tall something is. You know, my height is 183 centimeters, I think. That said, I may have shrunk, Sue. I'm getting older.
Who knows? height, 높이, 아니면 키라는 뜻이 될 수도 있어요.
네.
사람한테는 H-E-I-G-H-T 이렇게 쓰죠. 그 다음에 crater.
Yeah, a crater is some kind of valley or dent or dip in the ground that's going to be caused either by a volcano or by an explosion. So it could be, for example, an asteroid hitting the Earth or the moon. When you look at the moon through a telescope, you can see craters on the moon where rocks and asteroids have crashed and caused this explosion to cause this dent on the ground.
Exactly. 분화구예요. crater. C-R-A-T-E-R. Well, let me read it one more time. Italy's Mount Etna reached a new height record after a series of eruptions in August this year, which raised the volcano's crater by approximately 35 meters, bringing it to 3,403 meters above sea level.
Iran has started implementing rolling power blackouts nationwide as the country struggles with a shortage of natural gas ahead of winter.
이란이 겨울을 앞두고 천연가스 부족으로 어려움을 겪음에 따라 전국적으로 순차적 정전 조치를 시행하기 시작했습니다. Tell us more.
Well, you might think that Iran would not have any shortage of power because it's got the world's third largest oil reserves and the second largest natural gas reserves. But the issue is a lack of investment in creating electricity and generating electricity, and also poor infrastructure, which means they've had to institute these rolling blackouts. And so in Tehran, the capital city that has 9.5 million people, there are going to be 2-hour daily outages. They started yesterday. It's homes and it's businesses. And, well, it's crunch time because winter is coming and they're trying to make sure that they can make it through. The other issue is that Iran is cut off in some ways from the world because of sanctions. And its nuclear program has also been sanctioned, so it cannot rely on nuclear energy.
Now, when you say it's crunch time, you're saying now is the time to act.
Yeah, and also now is the very difficult time, the time when the problem is arising because winter is starting.
Yeah, all right. So let's have a look at this expression here. Rolling power blackouts.
So, first of all, a power blackout or just a blackout is when suddenly the power cuts off, the electricity cuts off. And I think we've all experienced that at least once in our lives. Suddenly, without warning, poof, the TV goes off, the lights go off. You have to find your torch or your candles.
Exactly.
A rolling power blackout or a rolling blackout is when you're scheduling blackouts for different regions, perhaps, or different districts. So, you know, over in the west of the city, they black out for 2 hours, then the north for 2 hours, then the east for 2 hours, then the south for 2 hours. So the idea is that this area, then this area, then this area. So not one area is constantly losing power, but we all have to bear the burden.
Right. 여기서 rolling은 돌아가면서 뭐뭐 한다라는 뜻으로 썼고요. power blackout가 정전입니다. 그래서 순차적인 정전 조치를 말하고 있습니다. What about ahead of something?
Well, it's before it happens. We talk about something, doing something ahead of something, or something happening ahead of something means in time before that. If we're looking at distance, it means it's in front of. But here we're looking at time.
ahead of winter, 겨울을 앞두고라는 뜻이고요. 이게 물리적인 눈에 보이는 것이면은 ahead of me, ahead of you. 그래서 내 앞에 진짜 이제 가시적인 눈에 보이는 것에 대해서 말할 수도 있죠. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. Iran has started implementing rolling power blackouts nationwide as the country struggles with a shortage of natural gas ahead of winter. Now here's our next headline.
A rare marble bust found being used as a doorstop is set to be sold for as much as £2.5 million, or about 4.5 billion won, after a court greenlit its auction.
과거 문 고정 받침으로 쓰였던 보기 드문 대리석 흉상 한 점이 법원의 경매 조치 승인에 따라 250만 파운드, 우리 돈으로 약 45억 원에 판매될 것으로 전망됐습니다. What an expensive doorstop.
It is, but it started off being really cheap. The local council bought it for just £5, £5 back in the old days. It then seemed to get misplaced. Nobody knew where it was, and it turned up on an industrial estate in Scotland, in Bollintor. It was propping open a shed door being used as a doorstop. And the thing is, this is not just any old bust. It's a bust of St. John, who was an MP. His family was quite rich, owned land in Scotland. And it was sculpted by Edmé Bouchardon, who is a very famous French sculptor who, if you go to Paris, you can see their work in the Palace of Versailles. So this is a really big deal. This was a really important, precious sculpture being used as a doorstop.
그 처음에 이 5 주고 그 카운슬에서 샀을 때가 그때가 언제예요? 그때가
It's quite a while before 98. Yeah.
그렇군요. 네, 1990년대 정도가 됐을 것 같은데, 네. 그때 5 샀다고 하니까 지금 환율로 하면은 9,000원 정도인데, 뭐 그때 환율이 어땠을지 98년도면 그때보다는 아마 파운드가 굉장히 더 셌기 때문에 조금 더 비쌀 수 있지만 그래도 만 원.
Probably, let's say 20,000. 20,000 won.
2만 원이라고 칩시다. 어쨌든 그냥 정말 헐값에, 왜냐면 사람들이 가치를 몰랐으니까 이 흉상을 구입을 한 거예요. 그래서 뭐 무겁고 묵직하고 그래서 그냥 문 닫히지 말라고 문 고정용으로 그냥 문 앞에다가 세워놓고 그랬었는데 알고 보니 이게 엄청난 작품이었대요. 그래서 이번에 우리 돈으로 45억 원에 경매에서 판매될 것으로 예상이 된답니다. 와우. Alright, what's a doorstop? We just talked about it, but what is it? Yeah.
Something that stops a door.
Yeah.
It's something that you put in front of a door to stop it from swinging closed. I don't know about you, Sue, but I've got a couple of doorstops in my house.
Yeah?
Our ones are made of plastic, I think. And
Okay.
they look like just little slopes or ramps that you can stick under the bottom of the door and they keep it in place.
맞아요. 문 닫히지 말라고 우리가 문 딱 고정시키는 것들, 그걸 doorstop라고 하죠. 어제도 이 단어가 나왔어요. 어제 사전 얘기하다가
네.
굉장히 두꺼운 사전을 예전에 많이 샀었는데 셰인 선생님이 요즘에는 뭐 거의 그냥 doorstop로 쓴다라고 하는 농담으로 얘기를 하셨었죠.
You can also joke about the size of a sandwich. My goodness, that's a doorstop.
아, 물건이 이제 크고 묵직해 보이면 다 문 고정 받침으로 쓰려고 이제 농담을 영어식으로는 많이 하는 거죠. 네, 실제로는 그런다기보다는 그런 식으로 이제 doorstop라는 단어를 쓸 수 있고요. 한 단어입니다. D-O-O-R-S-T-O-P. What about to greenlight something?
To greenlight something means to give it the go-ahead, to say, yes, you can do it, to say, okay. We often use it for movies. We talk about a movie being greenlit, meaning the producers have said, okay, here's the money, go and make it. We've decided we want this story to go on screen.
That's
but
right.
here, I guess there were maybe some legal issues, if it belonged to the council or who it belonged to and whether it could actually be sold or not. But it was given the green light by the court.
맞아요. Be given the green light 이렇게 쓸 수도 있고 to green light something 이렇게 쓸 수도 있어요. 명사도 되고 동사도 되고 이거는 우리가 운전할 때나 길 건널 때 신호등 생각하시면 돼요. 초록불이면은 가도 된다 이거니까.
잠시만. 초록불이요? 파란불 아니에요?
초록불, 선생님 파란불이라고 하시나요? 우리는 뭐 다 쓰죠. 파란불이라고
But
하시는 분들도
isn't
계시고.
parang blue?
초록불.
This is the one I always get confused of. If you think you get confused about learning English, for English speakers learning Korean, when we hear that parangpul and chorokpul could be the same thing,
Yeah.
our mind goes,
It's mind-boggling. 그래요. 그래서 이제 건너도 된다라는 green light를 영어에서는 이렇게 명사로도 쓰고 동사로도 쓰면서 승인하다 아니면 승인이라는 뜻으로 씁니다.
but we don't red light something.
No, you don't. Or orange light.
No. Or is it amber?
Maybe. Well, we do green light. The other ones don't exist.
Okay, let's not green light those other ones.
All right.
We'll only green light green light.
Okay. Well, here's the headline again. A rare marble bust found being used as a doorstop is set to be sold for as much as £2.5 million, or about 4.5 billion won, after a court greenlit its auction. Now, here's our final headline.
A nighttime cycling trend that began with 4 Chinese students biking 50 kilometers for dumplings has blown out to a reported 100,000 people jamming major roads, overwhelming a small tourist city and drawing the attention of authorities.
중국에서 학생 4명이 만두를 먹기 위해 밤에 자전거로 50km를 달린 데서 시작된 야간 자전거 주행 트렌드가 최근 약 10만 명까지 규모가 불어나면서 주요 도로가 정체되고 소규모 관광 도시가 마비되는 일이 발생해 당국의 조치가 내려졌습니다. Wow, just imagine 100,000 cyclists
Yeah.
in one night.
Yeah, and what's to blame? Soup dumplings.
Yes.
Oversized soup dumplings. Back in July, there were 4 students from Zhengzhou University who rode bikes there.
Okay.
50 kilometers because they wanted to try these famous dumplings. And then the trend caught on. And so you got more and more students making the journey. And it seemed like great for tourism, great for, regional pride, great for just enjoyment,
Sure.
for morale. However, the problem is now that we have hundreds of thousands or 100,000 students riding on these public share bikes that belong not in Kaifeng, but to the university area. And they're blocking up, they're filling up the 6-lane avenue on the roads and the expressway on the smaller streets towards Kaifeng. And so police have been trying to get them out. They're going to restrict cycling on roads and cycle paths on the weekend, and they will remotely lock these shared bikes if they go out of the area they're supposed to be in. So they're trying to basically stop this kind of big jam.
Yeah, exactly. What is a jam?
Well, it's a delicious spread you put on toast in the morning, Sue, made from fruit and sugar.
Okay.
Or it's a blockage of some kind. So when we use it as a noun, like a traffic jam, for example, is a blockage made of cars, where the cars stop moving. However, we can jam something, mean we stick something into it so we stop it working. In this case, we can literally stick thousands of people into one area and then they can't move anymore.
Yep.
But for example, you should never, jam your key into the door if it doesn't fit or it might break, or, never jam your fork into the toaster.
No. So a traffic jam is what we're referring to in this case. 교통체증을 traffic jam이라고 하죠. 그때 그 jam은 꽉 꼈다, 꼼짝도 못하게 이제 뭔가 껴있다라는 의미가 있어요. 그래가지고 my door's jammed. I can't open it. 이렇게
Yeah.
말할 수도 있어요. 뭔가 문이 왠지 모르겠는데 이제 완전히 껴서 아니면 움직이질 않아서 안 열려 이렇게 말할 수 있죠.
Or a more modern example, you remember when Black and White Chef, the finale, was on? And everybody wanted to book the restaurant of the winner. The app got jammed. There were so many customers.
Apps can get jammed. 맞아요. 이제 인기 굉장히 많은 걸 뭔가 예약하려고 그럴 때 그때 우리가 그 인터넷이 마비된다 그러잖아요. 그럴 때는 영어로 the app or the site got jammed
Yeah.
이렇게 표현할 수 있습니다. Now let's look at the word overwhelm.
Oh, it's too much to handle, Sue. I don't think I can do it.
It's an overwhelming word, isn't it?
It is. Overwhelm. I don't like this word because of the connotations of it. It's not nice.
Okay.
If something is overwhelmed, meaning there's too many things for it to handle. If someone is overwhelmed, it could be about emotions or about your workload. So in this case, we had the city being overwhelmed. Too many tourists coming in, too many people blocking the roads. But for example, when I was a kid, and I had too much homework to do and not enough time, and I didn't know where to start. And my mum was saying I had to do it, and my dad was saying, can you take out the trash? And I just wanted to play on my computer, and I started crying because I was
dear.
overwhelmed.
I almost got overwhelmed myself there listening to your story.
I'm sorry, I don't want to overwhelm you, Sue. Thank goodness you weren't underwhelmed, unlike when I tell you a joke.
Okay, let's have a look at overwhelm. Overwhelm이라는 거 스펠링은요. 일단 overwhelm 이렇게 쓰고요. 뭔가 굉장히 많이 압도하는 분위기라고 생각하면 되겠어요. 주변에 막 이거 해라 저거 해라 막 그러면서 엄청난 부담감이 있다든지 아니면은 설명을 내가 잘해야 되는데 너무너무 긴장돼. 그럴 때라든지 이게 다 공통적으로는 좀 어찌할 바를 모르는 상황이거든요. 그게 overwhelming situation이고요. 여기서는 도로가 너무나 많은 사이클리스트들로 가득 찼기 때문에 도로가 압도당한 겁니다. 그래서 이게 좀 다양한 의미를 쓸 수 있어요.
It reminds me of Lee Sun-shin,
Okay.
because the Japanese
Yeah.
Navy thought that they could overwhelm the few Korean ships. However, Lee Sun-shin had plans and he was not going to let them overwhelm him.
그렇죠. 이제 압도하려고 했으나 그렇게 하지 못했죠. All right. Well, let me read this headline one more time. A nighttime cycling trend that began with 4 Chinese students biking 50 kilometers for dumplings has blown out to a reported 100,000 people, jamming major roads, overwhelming a small tourist city, and drawing the attention of authorities. Well, that's it for the headlines this morning with Paul Matthews.
The government has announced a temporary nationwide ban on all aircraft takeoffs and landings to reduce noise during the English listening portion of this year's college scholastic ability test scheduled for Thursday.
정부는 목요일로 예정된 올해 대학 수학 능력 시험 당일 영어 듣기 평가가 실시되는 동안 전국 모든 항공기의 이착륙이 일시적으로 전면 통제된다고 발표했습니다. D1.
Yep.
Just one day away from the 수능.
Yeah. This is not new news. So it happens every year around this time. So the Transport Ministry is saying that they will be restricting the takeoff and landings of all aircraft for about half an hour. So it's not a long time. It's pretty relatively short. And that will occur tomorrow on Thursday. And it's to prevent distractions during the English listening portion of the annual CSAT or College Scholastic Ability Test. And it said that the restrictions will be in place from 1:05 p.m. to 1:40 p.m. on Thursday, and it will include all aircraft except for emergency aircraft. So planes in flight will be instructed to remain altitudes of at least 3 kilometers, and schedules for 58 international flights and 98 domestic flights will be adjusted accordingly. So, of course, these airlines will be notifying passengers in advance because this is not new news, as I mentioned before. And anyone who is planning to fly tomorrow should check their departure times in advance.
Absolutely. So the times we should keep in mind are 1:05 to 1:40 p.m. tomorrow. And I meant to say D-1 earlier on, of course. Tomorrow is D-Day.
Yeah.
And so today is that lead up to Sunung. I'm sure a lot of people have family members, friends, relatives who are taking the test. And we all want to say best of luck.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all very, very nervous right now. And I heard if you have a test taker at home, you have to be quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not just the planes that are going to be quiet. It's the parents and other family members at home. I heard you shouldn't even make any sounds with your feet when you're walking at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of public facilities will shift their opening hours, right, as well, in the morning.
So that kids won't be late to their testing centers. And there's always some sort of mix-up because, of course, so many people take the test.
Yeah.
So they have to go to they don't take it at their school. They take it at different centers. So there are some mix-ups in the mornings.
Right.
We hear of police cars shuttling, students to their test-taking centers. But all in all, I hope there are less mix-ups. Everyone gets there on time.
Yep.
Everyone does not get distracted during the listening test.
Absolutely.
Listening portion of the test, and everyone does well as they studied so hard for that test.
Fingers crossed. 네, 그렇습니다. 내일입니다, 수능이요. 그래서 항공기 이착륙이 일시적으로 전면 통제되는 시간은 1시 5분부터 1시 40분이고요. 물론 이제 비상 상황에 emergency aircraft가 혹시라도 이용이 돼야 된다 그러면은 그게 좀 예외가 적용이 되겠지만 일반 항공기는 요 시간대에 전면 중단, 일시적으로 전면 통제가 된다라고 합니다. 그 외에도 이제 아침에 고사장에 가야 되니까 이제 은행 같은 경우에는 열리는 시간이 늦춰져서요. 보통은 이제 9시부터 4시인데 내일 같은 경우에는 10시부터 5시까지 영업을 합니다. 그래서 이제 아침 출근 시간대에 보다 수월하게 학생들이 시험 고사장으로 갈 수 있도록 한다는 조치고요. 자, 일단은 이 표현 좀 보겠습니다. temporary.
Yeah, temporary. So temporary means it lasts only for a limited period of time or something that's not permanent or short term.
Sure.
We can say is temporary.
그렇죠. 자, nationwide ban on aircraft takeoffs and landings라고 했는데 이게 일시적인 거기 때문에 a temporary nationwide ban이라고 했습니다.
Right.
And what's a ban?
Yeah, so a ban is like an official or legal prohibition. That means you are not allowed to do something.
금지, 금지법, 금지령 모두 다 ban, ban이라고 하죠. 여기서는 a ban on 뭐뭐뭐 aircraft takeoffs and landings. 그래서 비행기가 이륙하고 착륙하는 것이 이제 일시적으로 금지가 된다라는 뜻이네요. 다시 제가 읽어보겠습니다. The government has announced a temporary nationwide ban on all aircraft takeoffs and landings to reduce noise during the English listening portion of this year's College Scholastic Ability Test, scheduled for Thursday. Moving on, this is our next headline.
The number of female executives in the country's top 100 companies has reached 463 this year, marking a stark contrast to 2004 when only 13 women held executive positions in these companies.
올해 국내 100대 기업의 여성 임원 수가 463명으로 조사되면서 불과 13명이었던 20년 전 기록과 극명한 대조를 나타냈습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so this is definitely positive news, and it's according to global headhunting firm Unico Search. They say the number of female executives in Korea's top 100 companies reached 463. That's up 5.5% or 24 members from last year. And the latest statistics mark a huge contrast compared to 2004 when only 13 female executives worked in the top 100 companies. And just in 2014, there were 106. So we are seeing a gradual decline, not decline, gradual increase,
Right,
excuse me. However, they are saying that the proportion of female executives still remain pretty low at only 6.3%.
아하. 자, 20년 전에는 국내 100대 기업의 여성 임원 수가 13명이었습니다. 10년 전에는 106명으로 늘었고요. 그리고 현재는 463명이니까 상당히 많이 늘었는데 그렇지만 이제 male counterparts 그 이제 같은 위치에 있는 남성과 비교했을 때는 퍼센티지상 뭐 6% 정도밖에 되지 않는다 그랬나요? 네, 아주 적습니다. 여전히.
6.3%. Yeah.
All right, executives. What's that?
So an executive, we hear of CEOs all the time, and that's what the E stands for. It's Chief Executive Officer. So an executive is a person with senior managerial responsibility, typically in a business organization.
네, 여기서 말하는 executive가 어떤 이제 높은 자리에 있는 임원이라고 볼 수 있는데요. 경영을 하는 간부나 이사나 중역을 통칭해서 executive라고 말할 수 있습니다. 역시 말씀해 주신 것처럼 CEO의 E가 executive입니다. What about stark contrast?
Stark contrast. So stark contrast is when two things are very different from each other in a way that is very obvious. We say, oh, they are starkly in contrast with each other or they are in stark contrast.
Be in stark contrast, mark a stark contrast. 그러면은 극명한 대비를 이룬다라는 뜻입니다. 20년 전에 비해서 지금 아주 많이 여성 임원이 늘었거든요. 그래서 극명한 대조를 나타낸다. Here's the headline again. The number of female executives in the country's top 100 companies has reached 463 this year, marking a stark contrast to 2004, when only 13 women held executive positions in these companies.
Korea's Disease Control Agency has confirmed the country's first death from whooping cough involving an infant and urged pregnant women, families, and caregivers to get vaccinated.
국내에서 발생한 100일의 첫 사망자가 생후 2개월 미만의 영아로 확인됨에 따라 질병관리청은 임신부와 동거가족 및 영유아 돌보미를 대상으로 100일의 백신 접종을 당부했습니다. 일단은 100일해 영어로 whooping cough라고도 하고요. 100-day cough라고도 합니다.
Yep.
이게 이제 100일해 그대로 직역이 되는 영어식 표현이겠죠.
Yeah.
실제로 한 100일 정도, 한 2, 3개월 동안
Yeah.
멈추지 않고 계속
Yeah.
기침이 나오는 그런 증상, 질병이라기보다는
Yep. Yep.
네, 그런 건데요. So tell us more about it.
Yeah, so your cough sounds like you're whooping, whoopings. That's
이런
why it's called the
어.
whooping cough.
Got it.
Yeah, and it's a very highly contagious respiratory infection that's caused by bacteria. And the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency, or KDCA, said this infant who unfortunately died from this disease was less than 2 months old
Right.
and was diagnosed with whooping cough late last month and died last week after experiencing worsening symptoms. So this marks the first recorded death caused by whooping cough since the KDCA began compiling related data back in 2011.
네, 여기서 highly contagious라고 하면은 상당히 전염이 잘 된다라는 뜻입니다. 전염성이 높은데요. 그렇지만 또 한편으로는 이 whooping cough 100일에는 백신을 맞으면은 얼마든지 예방이 가능합니다.
Yeah.
So it is vaccine preventable.
It is. But interestingly enough, we have been seeing a sharp increase in the number of these cases. They say that over 30,000 was reported as of the first week of November.
Yeah.
So get vaccinated. And that's why they are urging not only pregnant women, but people like family members or caregivers and healthcare workers who have to work with children to get vaccinated because they say that children that were aged 6 or under accounted for 3.3% of the total number of cases.
그래요. 11월 첫째 주를 기준으로 3만 명 이상의 100일의 환자가 있다라는 데이터가 지금 있습니다. 굉장히 안타깝게도 이제 첫 사망 사례가 나왔고 아기인데요.
Yeah.
지금 얘기한 바대로 2개월이 채 되지 않은
It's the infant.
그렇습니다. 자, involve, what does that mean? Involving something.
Yeah, so involving something means relating to. So when we're talking about like a situation or event, it means to include something as a necessary part or result.
자, involve something이라는 것은 무엇을 포함한다라는 뜻이죠. 근데 여기서는 involving an infant라고 해서 그 아이에 관한, 아이가 연관된 이라는 뜻입니다. 즉 이번에 사망 사례가 아이와 관련이 돼 있다. 이 영어식 표현이에요. 근데 우리말로 한다면은 이렇게 표현하진 않죠. 우리는 그냥 아이가 이렇게 됐다라고 말할 텐데 영어로는 there has been a case, a deadly case of whooping cough, and it involves an infant. 자, 그다음에 urge someone to do something.
Yeah, if you urge someone to try something or do something, it's like persuading someone very earnestly or persistently or encouraging someone very strongly to do something or to ask that something be done.
네, urge라는 것은 이렇게 권고하는 겁니다. urge A to do B. A에게 B를 하라고 권고하는 겁니다. 강력 권고하는 거고요. 실제로 이 100일에 같은 경우에는요. 1살 아래의 영아 같은 경우에는 이제 그냥 이제 아기들 같은 경우는 고위험군에 속하는 것 같아요. 그래서 지금 얘기하는 게 1살 미만의 아이를 보호하는 임신부나 동거 가족이나 그다음에 이제 돌보미도 마찬가지로 다 같이 백신을 맞을 것을 그렇게 권고하고 있습니다. 왜냐하면 아기들은 특히 더 좀 취약하니까요,
Of course,
몸이.
of course.
아이고, 네, 너무나 안타깝습니다. 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. Korea's Disease Control Agency has confirmed the country's first death from whooping cough involving an infant and urged pregnant women, families and caregivers to get vaccinated. Let's move on to the next headline.
The World Meteorological Organization has warned that 2024 will be the first year global warming exceeds pre-industrial levels by 1.5 degrees Celsius, issuing a red alert over the rapid pace of climate change.
네, 세계 기상기구 WMO는 2024년 지구 온난화 수준이 산업화 이전 대비 1.5도 상승 제한선을 처음으로 넘을 것으로 보인다고 경고하면서 빨라지는 기후 변화 속도에 대해 적색 경보를 내렸습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so I think even here on Morning Special, we cover a lot of news about extreme weather conditions going on around the world. We've been seeing the sea surface temperatures rising, ice caps are melting, there's been severe flooding, as recently we've been seeing in Spain, and there's been a lot of droughts as well. So climate change is real, and the World Meteorological Organization said that the average temperatures will be 1.54 degrees Celsius warmer than the pre-industrial era, and this is from their stats from January to September of 2024. They said that the global mean surface air temperature exceeded the pre-industrial average by 1.54 degrees Celsius. So that's why they issued that red alert because of the sheer pace of climate change in a single generation.
And 1.5 degrees Celsius may not seem like a lot, but every 0.1 degrees Celsius counts, right?
Yeah. It's actually a lot.
It's
Just
quite
1 degree.
significant. Yeah. All right. So to exceed a certain level, let's look at exceeding.
Right. So if something exceeds something, it means to be greater in number or size than a quantity, number, or other measurable thing.
exceed, exceed라는 것은 무언가를 초과하다라는 뜻입니다. 넘다라는 뜻이죠. 그래서 pre-industrial levels라는 것은 이제 산업화 이전의 그 수준, 그것을 넘었다. exceeded by 1.5 degrees Celsius, 1.5도씨만큼 그 수준을 넘어섰다. And what's a rapid pace?
Rapid pace is It's a speed that is very fast or very quick.
아주 빠른 속도가 되겠습니다. Rapid pace. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼까요? The World Meteorological Organization has warned that 2024 will be the first year global warming exceeds pre-industrial levels by 1.5 degrees Celsius, issuing a red alert over the rapid pace of climate change. Let's move on to the final headline.
A white truffle from Alba in Italy, weighing almost 1 kilogram, has sold for more than $150,000 at a charity auction in Hong Kong.
이탈리아 알바 지역에서 채취된 화이트 트러플 송로버섯 약 1kg이 홍콩에서 열린 자선 경매에서 $15만 이상의 금액에 낙찰됐습니다. Okay, tell us more.
Yeah, so it was the 25th World Alba White Truffle Auction Charity Gala, and
Okay.
we are mentioning that it is a charity auction because the proceeds from the auction will go to an organization called Mother's Choice, which is a Hong Kong charity that offers support to vulnerable children and pregnant teenagers. So this white truffle that was sold was 908 grams, so nearly 1 kilogram, and it sold for 1.2 million Hong Kong dollars, which is equivalent to about $154,000 US, and it was part of a single lot that also included a 4-day accommodation package in Italy's Piedmont region and an 8-person dining experience at Hong Kong's restaurant called Castellana, which specializes in Piedmont cuisine. And they say that they raised a lot of money for this charity because they raised about 3 million Hong Kong dollars in total.
와우. 자, 이게 이제 charity auction이었습니다. 그러니까 자선 행사의 일환으로 이렇게 경매에 붙여진 화이트 트러플이고요. 거기에서 모아진 돈이 결국은 굉장히 좋은 곳에 쓰였다라는 얘기입니다. 아까 보니까 vulnerable children and pregnant teenagers라고 했어요. 그래서 10대 미혼모와 그다음에 취약계층의 어린이들에게 이 돈이 갈 것 같습니다. 네, 상당히 묵직한 트러플이고요.
Yeah.
거의 뭐 1kg 된다고
I
하니까.
have never had white truffle before. I mean, I love truffle, but white truffle is very rare.
아 그래요?
Yeah.
블랙 트러플
Yeah.
요즘에 좀 한참 유행하는 것
Yeah.
같은데 여기 과자에 뭐 블랙 트러플
0.01%, right?
사실 0.01%도 안 들어갔을 거예요. 아마 근데 이제 그 향이 나는 무언가가 들어갔겠지만 이게 송로버섯 자체가 굉장히 귀하죠.
Yeah, but these white truffles, I think I heard they are rarer and
Yeah.
more expensive than
I
black
see,
truffles.
really?
Yep.
그렇습니다. 자, 그리고 홍콩에서 옥션을 했기 때문에 홍콩의 화폐도 달러죠. 그러니까 홍콩 달러로는 120만 달러가 되겠고요. 그게 이제 미화로 환산을 했을 때는 한 15만 US 달러 정도가 됩니다. 자, 그러면 표현 볼게요. weighing.
Weighing. So it's used as a verb. We also hear it as how much do you weigh or what is your weight, which would be the noun form. But it means to find out how heavy someone or something is, typically using a scale.
그렇죠. 우리가 키 몸무게 하면 height and weight 이렇게 얘기를 해요. 두 단어가 비슷하게 생겼고요. 같이 붙여서 말할 수 있겠죠. 체력 검사 같은 거 할 때. weight가 그래서 무게고 weigh가 얼마의 무게가 나간다라는 뜻입니다. weigh, weigh. 뒤에다가 t까지 붙이면 weight. 자, 그래서 this truffle weighed almost 1 kilogram.
Yeah, it's huge.
And a charity auction.
Yeah, a charity auction is a fundraising event where guests bid on items like this truffle or packages like a tour package to benefit a charity.
자선 경매가 되겠습니다. Sometimes celebrities do this. They'll
Yeah.
have
Their stuff,
memorabilia,
right? Yeah.
something, and they'll raise money and then they'll donate the money.
Yeah.
So it's a charity auction. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. A white truffle from Alba in Italy, weighing about 1 kilogram, has sold for more than $150,000 US at a charity auction in Hong Kong.
The nation added 83,000 jobs in October, with job growth falling below the 100,000 mark for the first time in 4 months, according to Statistics Korea.
지난달 우리나라 취업자 수가 8만 3천 명 늘어나면서 4개월 만에 증가폭이 10만 명 이하로 떨어졌다고 통계청이 발표했습니다. Tell us more.
Well, this is the first time that Korea has added less than 100,000 jobs in 4 months. And this is primarily due to a slowdown in the wholesale and retail sectors. And this is also despite some gains. There were gains in healthcare, education, and science and technology. If we focus in on the sectors where there were job losses, employment in the wholesale and retail sectors dropped by 148,000 jobs compared to October of last year. Now, this is continuing a downward trend for its 8th consecutive month. A finance ministry official said that issues such as excessive competition, the trend toward online and automated services, as well as increases in large-scale stores are contributing to this.
That makes sense.
It
yeah.
does, right.
Yeah.
It does make sense. And then if we look at construction, jobs fell by 93,000 in October, and that's the 6th straight month of decline.
아, 그래요. 자, 그러니까 다달이 얼마나 이제 취업자 수가 늘었느냐, 줄었느냐 이걸 보게 되는데 지난달입니다. 10월 기준으로 데이터를 보게 되면은 가장 최근에 나온 데이터인데요. 우리나라 취업자 수가 8만 3천 명 늘었습니다. 그런데 이제 매달 올해 초부터 쭉 보게 되면은 이제 한동안 10만 명 이상이었거든요. 그러다가 지금 4개월 만에 10만 명 아래로 뚝 떨어진 8만 3천 명이 늘었다라는 걸 볼 수 있어서 증가폭이 좀 줄어든 것을 알 수 있습니다. 분야별로는 by field or category, 그래서 wholesale and retail이라는 얘기를 했는데요. 도매업, 소매업이 되겠죠. 거기서 취업자 수가 많이 줄었다고 하고요. 그다음에 healthcare하고 science and technology 같은 경우에는 또 늘었다고 합니다. construction에서도 취업자 수가 줄어들었다라는 얘기를 해주셨는데 특히 wholesale and retail 같은 경우에는 우리가 이제 그 오프라인 매장보다는 온라인 매장 이용을 더 많이 하고 그다음에 대규모 large scale 쇼핑 몰즈라든지 이런 것들이 더 많이 생기다 보니까 취업자 수는 좀 줄었나 봐요. Alright, so to add something is our first expression.
So in this case, it means that the amount has been increased.
Yeah.
Now, the amount of jobs have increased. Now, it says the nation added jobs. Obviously, the country is not a person. It can't add something. But we write it like that. We'll also see sometimes, say, for example, let's say a stock increased in price.
Yeah.
They'll say this company added to its market cap. When really what just happened is the price of the stock increased.
Exactly.
In this case, the number of jobs increased. But we can also use add to mean we include something in something or on something.
Yeah.
So think about food. How many people they will add milk to their coffee. I added some milk to my coffee this
Did you?
morning, or many people add salt or something like that.
Not to
their
your
food.
coffee, but
Not to your coffee, no. Sometimes to my water.
Yeah, okay. I think a long, long time ago in Korea, people used to add raw eggs to their coffee. Have you heard about that?
No.
Like raw, very old traditional way of drinking coffee is what I heard. Not my generation.
Okay.
Maybe like 1 or 2 generations above me.
Yeah, maybe they just wanted their morning protein. So
Maybe, yeah. So that was an interesting
Okay.
thing to add to a coffee. But yeah, I don't add anything to my coffee, so mine's just black.
Sure.
But you've added milk.
Milk, yeah.
As you said, so it's sort of like a latte. add, 뭔가 더 한다는 뜻이잖아요. 근데 영어의 특성상 이게 사람이 아니더라도 무생물을 주어로 두는 경우가 많습니다. 여기서도 보면은요. The nation added 83,000 jobs. 나라가 이만큼의 취업자를 더했다라고 요즘 하고 있죠. 그러니까 우리말로 직역을 하면 조금 이상할 수 있는데 영어식으로는 이렇게 써요. Same with weather-related news stories. Sometimes you will Oftentimes you will see headlines where it says the typhoon has hit or the hurricane has wreaked havoc or something. So it's not a human being, but this thing, is used as a subject.
Exactly.
And then it does something.
Right. And when you see the word add, just think of mathematics. Think of the plus sign because sometimes you're having a conversation with somebody and you want to say something else. It's not maybe your main point.
Yeah.
You add something else. And you'll see that written. A lot of times in news articles, you'll see one quote from somebody and then you'll see another quote and then it'll say she added this or he added this.
Yes.
In addition to what they've said.
Good point. 네, 이렇게 덧붙였습니다라고 할 할 때요. She added this, he added this 이런 말을 덧붙였습니다 라는 의미로 쓰고 수학에서는 addition이라는 게 덧셈. addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. 덧셈, 뺄셈, 곱셈, 나눗셈 이렇게 되죠. 자, add 봤고요. Now what about falling below something?
So in this case, we're talking about to go under or be lower than some certain level. So in this case, we're looking at that 100,000 job threshold, mark or
the
threshold. Right,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
So just to be lower than that. A lot of times you'll talk about someone's performance falling below expectations.
Yep.
So a lot of like sports teams, for example, a team is expected to be good. They're not good. Their performance has fallen below expectations.
Yep.
We'll talk a lot about temperatures.
Oh yeah.
Especially temperatures falling below freezing, for example.
Yeah.
And then it can be literal as well. You know, you might, maybe you fall below the surface of the water, for example, when you jump into the swimming pool.
Sure, exactly. Fall below something, 뭐뭐 아래로 떨어지다. 이게 이제 어떤 기준 수치일 때는요, 이 수치를 밑돌다가 되겠죠. 자, 그러니까 여기서 the 100,000 mark. 10만 명 선 아래로 떨어졌다라는 뜻으로 the number of new jobs fell below that mark or threshold. 또 다른 말로 threshold라고 합니다. 문턱이라는 뜻인데 어떤 한계점이라는 의미가 될 수도 있습니다.
When you see the word below, you can think of under. Because we
Yeah.
could even just replace that. We could have said that with job growth falling under
Yeah.
the 100,000 mark.
Sure,
Completely, it's completely fine. Means the same thing.
맞아요. below하고 under하고 같습니다. 그래서 기온 얘기할 때도 below zero. Although I don't know if you say under zero, but
For
you
some
say,
reason, people
yeah.
don't, right? Yeah,
But in
it's
most
just one of those
cases,
things.
it's interchangeable.
Yes.
맞아요. 대부분은 under하고 below가 같은 의미로 바꿔서 쓸 수 있지만 희한하게도 날씨 얘기할 때는요. 0도 이하로 떨어졌다라고 할 때는 below를 씁니다. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. The nation added 83,000 jobs in October, with job growth falling below the 100,000 mark for the first time in 4 months, according to Statistics Korea. Let's move on to the next headline.
A recent survey indicates that 67% of Koreans find cohabitation without marriage acceptable, while 52% still regard marriage as essential.
최근 설문조사에서 국민 67%가 결혼하지 않더라도 동거할 수 있다라고 대답했으며 52%는 여전히 결혼이 필수적이다라고 생각하는 것으로 나타났습니다. This is an interesting survey of people's conceptions of marriage.
Yeah, the survey actually had a lot of different questions. We kind of focused in on
The marriage part.
marriage
Yeah,
part here. So this is a report. It's a biennial survey, so done by Statistics Korea. So that means
Again,
every
yep.
2 years they do this. They did it in May this year. So they wanted to discover Koreans' perceptions of family, education, well-being, living conditions, and so on. So they surveyed 37,000 people aged 13 and older. So as we said in the headline, 67.4% said it's fine for unmarried people to cohabitate.
Yep.
So cohabitate is a verb in this case. It means just to live together. Technically, sorry, we'll get to that after.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting part here is that this rate has actually steadily increased over the last 12 years.
Yeah.
So in 2012, about 46% of people said, yeah, that's okay. It kept going up slowly, 48% in 2016. Then it crossed that 50% threshold or level in 2018. 56% then said, hey, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Then we hit 65% in 2022.
Sure.
And now it keeps going up. So more and more people are finding that that's okay. That's very normal in Western countries to cohabitate before marriage.
You've been doing that. I mean, like the Western
For a long
world has been
time,
doing
right.
that for a long time. But here in Korea, even in my lifetime, and I'm in my 40s, so, I haven't lived, a very, very long time. But even in my lifetime, I've seen a big change
Oh, yes.
in the perception of living together with your boyfriend or girlfriend.
I've seen it over the last 10 years. Like
Okay.
I've noticed because I did
There
it.
you go.
I'm not ashamed to say.
Before you got married?
Yeah, before I got married. I always said,
Okay.
like, you never, who buys a car without taking it for a test drive?
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You gotta, and that's, I think,
Not
what
to
a lo-
say that people are like cars, but you
no,
know, yeah.
but the
I know
idea is,
yes, yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're making a huge decision. You got to see if you can live together, and that's
Sure.
what people are. It seems as though that's what people are starting to agree with in Korea as well.
But I guess, being Asian and, we have been more,
Traditional.
I guess, traditional in that sense. So as you said, maybe even as close as 10 years ago, or I would say 20 years ago, people weren't that open
Oh, no, not at
to
all.
that. Or even if they were living together with their boyfriend or girlfriend, they would maybe hide the fact and keep it a secret.
Oh yeah, my wife did.
And so a lot of people would frown and look down on that kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing. But I guess now, as we're seeing here, nearly 7 out of 10 people are saying, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And a lot of people are doing it.
Right.
And they're proud. And they're, no one's really hiding it these days.
Yeah.
So a huge change. 자, 지금 얘기한 것처럼 인식, perception이 많이 바뀐 것 같아요. 그래서 이게 biennial survey라고 했는데 2년에 한 번씩 실시되는 설문조사라는 뜻입니다. 역시 통계청에서 이렇게 설문조사를 실시하게 되고요. 18세 이상 한 3만 7천 명 정도를 대상으로 설문조사를 실시했더니 67%가 결혼하지 않고 동거해도 괜찮다라고 얘기했대요. 이게 계속해서 요 퍼센티지는 올라가고 있는 양상입니다. But what's interesting is about half of the respondents said that they still think marriage is essential.
Yeah, they said they at least think it's necessary,
Yeah.
right? And 41.5% said it's a matter of choice. I don't care, kind of
Sure.
thing, right?
Got it.
And then 3% said it's not necessary.
Oh, okay.
So that was quite interesting.
That's
now,
lower than what I expected, actually.
very much lower. And some of the interesting things here is they talked about how women are more pessimistic about marriage than men, especially single women. So
Yep.
58% of men said marriage, and this is just not all men. 58% of men said marriage is necessary. 47% of women said it's necessary. Now for single, 41% of single men had positive views of marriage. They wanted to get married. But for single women, only 26% had positive views of
There's
marriage.
a big gap there.
That is huge. And even for the men, like it's less than half of single men only,
그러네요.
don't have positive view of it, but only a quarter of single women.
네, 지금 사실 항목이 굉장히 많기 때문에 전부 다 다룰 수는 없는데 we are looking at just a few of the things that were surveyed here out of many, many. 근데 그 중에서 보면은 결혼에 대한 인식이 남녀에도 큰 격차가 있네요. 물론 5명이 넘진 않지만 10명 중에 한 4명 정도의 남성이 결혼에 대해서 긍정적으로 본다. 근데 여성은 10명 중에 한 2명 정도만 그렇다라고 하고요. 결혼을 꼭 해야 된다라는 응답자도 남성은 10명 중에 6명, 여성 같은 경우에는 10명 중에 한 5명 정도가 이렇게 본답니다. Alright, so what is cohabitation?
That's when you live together, you share a home. It's most often used to describe a couple
Yeah.
living together who aren't married. But technically, you could use it if you're talking about roommates.
Yeah, I
You,
mean,
you cohabitate with
The
people.
word itself just means living together.
Yeah, to means with different people. Or together, like cooperate, for example.
네, cohabitation은 동거라는 뜻입니다. 자, 그래서 여기서는 cohabitation without marriage, 그러니까 남녀의 동거가 되겠죠. And if something is essential,
Absolutely necessary. Very important.
꼭 해야 된다.
Water is essential for our survival.
Yes.
Think about the kids doing the exam. It's essential to get a good night's sleep before
yes.
the exam.
Yep, exactly. Essential이라는 것은 반드시 해야 된다, 필수적이다라는 뜻입니다. Here's the headline again. A recent survey indicates that 67% of Koreans find cohabitation without marriage acceptable, while 52% still regard marriage as essential.
British author Samantha Harvey has won the coveted 2024 Booker Prize for her novel Orbital, the first book set in space to win the prize.
영국의 작가 스만타 하비가 유명 문학상인 부커상을 수상했습니다. 그녀의 소설 오비털은 우주를 배경으로 쓰인 첫 수상작이 됐습니다. Alright, let's talk about this book and the prize.
Yeah, it's not a very long book. I think it's just the second shortest book to ever win this. Only 136 pages.
Okay.
It's Samantha Harvey's fifth novel, and it takes place over a single day in the life of 6 astronauts. Now, the BBC described the book as during those 24 hours, the astronauts, they observe 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets. They see the seasons cycling past them because time is much faster in space. So I
Right.
think that's the idea of I might try to find this book because it sounds quite interesting.
does.
You experience it, the astronauts experience 24 hours, but it's much longer
Time
on
is
Earth.
different, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that's the idea of this book. Harvey's actually the first woman to win the award since 2019, and she'll take home £50,000 for
Okay.
the award. And when she was asked how she's going to spend the money, she said she's going to buy herself a new bike, a new bicycle, and it's going to be a good one.
오케이. 그래요. 5만 파운드 상금을 받게 되는데 돈 어떻게 쓰실 거예요? 했더니 bike, as in bicycle, not
Yeah,
motorbike?
yeah, bicycle.
자전거를 사겠다고. 그러면서 진짜 좋은 자전거 사려고요. 라고 말했답니다. 자, 부커상을 받았습니다. Of course, in Korea, we know of the International Booker Prize, which Hangang won many, many years ago, and that's for translated works.
Okay.
But this is the Booker Prize, which is for
Right.
English novels.
And they have to be published in the UK or Ireland as well, it said.
I see.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about coveted.
When something is coveted, it means many people want that thing. A job, some clothing, an award. So the LA Dodgers, there's many LA Dodgers fans in Korea.
Yeah.
They just won the coveted World Series.
Oh, congratulations. 그렇군요. Coveted. 누구나 원한다는 뜻입니다. 누구나 갈망하는, 탐내는 것. 그래서 여기서는 굉장히 유명한, 누구나 받고 싶어 하는 상이다라는 뜻으로 The Coveted Booker Prize라고 했고요. Now, the book is set in space.
So maybe you hear the phrase, the setting of a story. That's what this is. It's where the story takes place. Now, usually with setting, it's usually used when we talk about literature, movies, storytelling. That's the setting.
Yeah.
But you could also talk about the setting of your wedding, for example. Where
Sure.
was it? Where did it take place?
맞아요. 우리가 영화 촬영이나 드라마 촬영할 때 그 TV 세트장이라고 하잖아요. 그래서 세트라는 게 그 배경이라는 의미가 있어서 set in space라고 하면은 우주를 배경으로 하는 소설책이다. 이런 의미가 되겠네요. 네, 그래서 이 부커상을 받은 수상작 중에 우주를 배경으로 ISS도 나오고 우주인도 나오고 그러는데 그런 내용으로 상을 받은 첫 번째 책이 되겠습니다.
So you'll see it written or said that a book or a story or a movie takes place in space or takes place in the future
Sure.
or takes place in New York City, takes place in Tokyo, takes place
It's set in. Yeah.
Seoul
Yeah.
or Busan, like a lot of the Korean gangster movies I like. Chingu is set in
yes,
in Busan.
Yeah, I love that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that'd be too violent for you.
But 장동건
Oh, you like the actor? Ah, okay.
your song, you can't resist.
Is that like your Hugh Grant for Korean actors?
Possibly. I mean, I just like the acting.
Okay,
Yeah, overall,
right.
It was a little violent in some scenes,
Yeah,
but
yeah, you
overall,
think? Yeah.
but I liked it.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow,
And
okay.
it's been a while since I
Yeah.
watched it too, actually. I don't remember the specifics.
Okay.
All right. Set in 어디 그러니까 어디를 배경으로 하다. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. British author Samantha Harvey has won the coveted 2024 Booker Prize for her novel Orbital, the first book set in space to win the prize. Now let's move on.
Bhutan's Bitcoin holdings have surpassed $1 billion following a surge in the cryptocurrency's price, positioning the country among the top holders of Bitcoin reserves globally.
부탄이 암호화폐 가격 급등의 여파로 10억 달러가 넘는 비트코인을 보유하게 되면서 전 세계 비트코인 보유액 상위 국가로 올라섰습니다. Tell us more, Ray.
Well, Bhutan holds 12,578 Bitcoins valued at $1.1 billion, which is a big amount of money. But Bhutan is a very, very small country. It was actually closed to the rest of the world until, 10, 15 years ago. And this amount of Bitcoin constitutes 1/3 of its GDP.
Oh my goodness.
Right, and how they did this is they mined Bitcoin. And you do this using computers, but
Yeah.
it takes a lot of power. They used their abundant hydroelectric power from dams. That's how they got the electricity to do all this Bitcoin mining. Now, and they're saying here, what a lot of people think is this could be served as a model. This could serve as a model for other smaller nations who are interested in leveraging their natural resources for crypto mining.
와우. 부탄이 이렇게 그 비트코인 를 굉장히 많이 보유하게 됐다라는 소식인데요. 전체 GDP의 3분의 1에 해당되는 엄청난 보유액이네요. 네, 그래서 보유액 상위 국가에 올라섰다라는 얘기도 앞에서 했었고 여기서 이제 비트코인을 보유한다라는 뜻으로 have라고 하지 않고 hold라고 했습니다. holding bitcoins.
This is just a phrase that people use when you talk about holdings. It refers to assets, property, investments, and this can be owned by a person, an organization, or a company. You can also say a company like Tesla has massive Bitcoin holdings as well, and it's commonly used to refer to things like stocks and bonds and real estate, other physical assets,
Yep.
commodities, artwork, even,
Yep.
and then the holder is the person that has that. They own that financial instrument or that asset.
네, 그렇습니다. 그러니까 명사로 holdings라고 하면은 보유액, 보유 자산이라는 뜻이 되는 거죠. 자, 그다음에 positioning.
Positioning.
Yeah.
So positioning refers to the way something is like arranged. Like for example, I'm always adjusting the positioning of the microphone.
Our engineer is not happy. Stop touching the mic.
Okay, sorry. But I always what if I'm from here? I'm always adjusting the positioning of it, where it is relative to me. Now, positioning can also be your ranking, or it can also be how something is viewed.
Yeah.
So companies want their products to be positioned a certain way in the market. How do consumers view their product?
네, position이 명사일 땐 위치지만 동사일 때는 위치를 바꾼다는 뜻이 있어요. 그래서 이렇게 조정한다는 뜻으로 아까 레이 선생님이 마이크 이렇게 조정한다 이렇게 보여줬는데 네, 그런 겁니다. 여기서는 물론 좀 다르게 쓰였는데 positioning Bhutan among the top holders of Bitcoin이라고 했어요. 이런 위치에 오르게 했다라는 뜻이에요. 이제 비트코인을 많이 보유하기 때문에 그래서 이제 비트코인 보유 상위 국가라는 위치로 가게 됐다. It has positioned itself as this.
That sort of is more of the ranking side.
Yeah.
That's where it puts them in the list.
That's right. 자, 그럼 다시 제가 읽어보겠습니다. Bhutan's Bitcoin holdings have surpassed $1 billion following a surge in the cryptocurrency's price, positioning the country among the top holders of Bitcoin reserves globally. And here's our final headline.
A quirky hotel in the Philippines that stands 35 meters tall has been awarded a Guinness World Record for the largest building shaped like a giant chicken.
필리핀에 세워진 높이 35m의 한 기발한 호텔 건물이 세계 최대의 닭 모양 건물이라는 기네스 기록을 달성했습니다.
This thing is absolutely massive. 35 meters high, 12 meters wide, and 28 meters long. It's at the Campuestahan Highland Resort. It's a holiday spot. I looked it up. It's on the island to the west of Cebu. A lot of people go there. So
Cebu,
it's
yeah.
on that the island to the west of Cebu. This building, it's actually a hotel that has 15 rooms. It took just over a year to construct, 556 days to be exact. And
Okay.
they did say it was difficult because this building has to withstand a lot of storms and typhoons, which are really common in this area. But a cool resort. If people are looking to go to see it, you can see the chicken.
Yeah.
They've got wave pools, swimming pools, and hundreds of dinosaurs and Marvel cartoon figures.
일단 위치는 세부 섬에서 서쪽에 있는 또 다른 섬에 있다라고 알려주셨고 그다음에 35m 높이고요. 그다음에 가로로 한 12m 또 전체 길이는 또 28m가 되는 것 같아요. 어마어마한 닭입니다. 그래서 기네스 기록을 이제 세웠다라고 했는데 이런 부문을 만든 것 같아요. 가장 큰 닭 모양 건물이라는 그 부문에 기록 보유 건물, 보유자가 됐습니다. It's very quirky.
Quirky. It's a good
Yeah,
word. This is
yeah.
a good word. So quirky is when something is kind of different. It's unusual. It's a little strange or unique, but in a good way. In a funny way,
Yeah.
interesting, amusing way. So we'll talk a lot about people. Some people have a quirky sense of humor. They find funny, weird things funny, or the things they say. Most people don't say that kind of thing, but it's funny. Or the way people dress can be quirky.
Sure.
Some people sometimes, a lot of this. You go to Dongdaemun, there's tons of quirky socks with cartoon characters.
like those.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
those are quirky.
Yeah, exactly. Can I let you in on a little secret
I'd
about
love-
my socks this morning?
Oh, please do.
I'm wearing Pengsu socks this
Are you
morning.
really?
Which I think are quite quirky.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
So, there you go.
Exactly. It's not much of a secret when you tell the country, but
Yeah,
still,
no, not a secret anymore.
You've let everybody in on it.
There you go.
But I'm the only one that can see them.
Yes, which I don't know if you
Nice.
can see the
Oh,
Pengsu.
yep. I can see them, and they
Okay.
are quirky. I can attest to that.
자, quirky는 스펠링이 Quirky입니다. 의미는요, 좀 희한하다, 별나다인데 긍정적인 뉘앙스가 있어요. 좀 희한하지만 좀 사랑스럽다. 아니면 좀, 재밌다. 이 느낌이 있는 희한하다예요. 그래서 여기서는 우리가 아까 기발한 호텔이라고 했는데 좀 희한하죠. 닭 모양으로 해놨으니까. 자, 그 다음에 shaped like something.
In the shape of that thing. So this thing is shaped like a chicken, but it's also painted like a chicken. It looks like a chicken.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just have the shape of something. So Christmas time, a lot of people will make Christmas cookies, and they'll be shaped like stars or Christmas trees.
Yep, gingerbread men.
Yep. Make a gingerbread house.
Yes.
Those are fun to make.
Shaped like something. 무엇의 모양을 띈 이란 뜻입니다. 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. A quirky hotel in the Philippines that stands 35 meters tall has been awarded a Guinness World Record for the largest building shaped like a giant chicken. And that's it for the headlines this morning.